Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video, but yeah, we have another huge update in the strikes, the entertainment industry strikes. Now SAG-AFTRA has voted to authorize a video game industry strike. This was rumored to be happening. Now it's happening right after the WGA apparently got its issues sorted out with AMP-TIP. We don't know the details of that yet. This was like yesterday they made the announcement, or the day before. I think it was Sunday night. They reached a deal Sunday night. Still don't know what the details are. But now all of a sudden SAG-AFTRA is like, hey, yeah, let's go on strike too for video game people. And it's like, okay, so if the entire entertainment industry goes on strike at the same time, and you're somebody that produces content in the entertainment industry, whether it's movies or TV shows or video games or whatever, and you're like, okay, all these people could just decide unilaterally to go on strike. I don't think it's going to end the way you think it's going to end long term. I think short term, there might be gains made, but I think what this is going to do is actually hasten the need for businesses to look at replacements, whether that's non-union work or AI or whatever. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I want to be very clear. This is a whole sticky ethical dilemma that we've got here, right? So I need to be clear on that. But when you're like, wow, we really cannot depend on people to do their jobs and get things done without complaining and costing us more money, whether they're in the right or the wrong. So what do? Oh, we'll just replace the whole lot of them with computers and with people that are willing to work cheap or whatever. You know, that would be my takeaway, knowing how these corporations work. That's what I think they're going to wind up doing. They're going to be like, well, fine. We're going to replace you with computers, and they're not going to complain until they come up with a scheme to kill us all someday. You know, then they'll complain that the human infestation has gone on too long. Anyway, let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. No woohoos today, not in the video game industry. This is going to lead to, I believe, a lot more consolidation of game companies. The AAA studios are all going to congeal. They're going to form like video game Voltron or something. But it's going to be Vehicle Voltron. It's not going to be as good as Lion Voltron. SAG-AFTRA members vote overwhelmingly to authorize strike against video game industry. Yeah, and right now somebody's like, I love Vehicle Voltron. Fuck you, Neon. I'm like, I like Vehicle Voltron too, but let's be honest. When everybody thinks of Voltron, they think of the Lions, okay? Chill out. SAG-AFTRA members have voted overwhelmingly to authorize a strike against 10 of the major game companies. The vote was 98% in favor. A total of 34,000 members cast ballots, representing a vote of 27% of eligible voters. The Guild's last strike against the gaming companies, 2016 and 2017, lasted 183 days. That's longer than the writer's strike. The Guild, meanwhile, has been on strike against the film and TV industry since July 14th. It's time for the video game companies to stop playing games and get serious about reaching an agreement on this contract, said Fran Drescher, SAG-AFTRA president. Then she started complaining about how Ms. Pac-Man's not wearing pants. No, I don't know. The result of this vote shows our membership understands the existential nature of these negotiations and that the time is now for these companies, which are making billions of dollars and paying their CEOs lavishly, to give our performers an agreement that keeps performing in video games as a viable career. Okay, that's a nice thought. And I've said before, I like Fran Drescher. I don't know how much she knows about video games. It seems like it's kind of like they're video game people. They need to step up and pay more. And there are a lot of issues, and there are CEOs that are paid lavishly or whatever, supposedly. You know, actually some CEOs of these companies don't make as much as their top stars that are probably members of the SAG-AFTRA, but you know, whatever. And there are a lot of production costs that go into things too. You know, I mean, again, if you can get that money, get that money. But what I'm telling you, knowing how corporations are going to corporate, knowing that they're going to do what they're going to do, they're going to look at this and be like, do we really need people? I mean, we're dealing with video games. We're dealing with digital assets mostly. Like, do we really need all these people? Yeah, I don't think we do, because we can just have AI do all of it. And actually, it makes a lot more sense in video games to have AI do it than it does in movies and TV, you know, because we're already dealing with the uncanny valley in these AAA titles. You know, what does it matter at this point? So I don't know. My personal opinion is I think this is the wrong time to pick this fight. And we've seen Embracer Group, which owns a lot of the AAA studios, firing people, laying people off, shutting down entire studios because these AAA titles aren't performing. And now we're going to be like, yeah, let's go on strike. You know? And it's like, oh, okay. Well, I don't know if I would have picked this time, but I guess they figured let's just rip the damn Band-Aid off. I mean, everybody else is on strike. Let's just all go on strike. Everybody's going on strike. And hey, you people making cars, yeah, you can go on strike too. We're all going to go on strike together. It's going to be awesome. The whole country is just going to nope out. The Guild's board and negotiating committee had already voted unanimously to recommend the authorization vote, which requires 75% approval. Today's vote doesn't necessarily mean there will be a strike, but rather gives the national board the authority to call a strike if negotiations fail. Well, they're probably going to fail. I'm being honest. The Guild and the companies will resume negotiations Tuesday, and now that the strike authorization has been approved, the strike could come anytime after that. After 5 rounds of bargaining, it's become abundantly clear that the video game companies aren't willing to meaningfully engage on the critical issues: compensation undercut by inflation, unregulated use of AI, and safety. Now, the safety I do agree with. If you've got motion performance capture people and they're getting hurt and they don't have, my understanding is they don't have medical personnel on hand if they like literally break a leg. So I think that's kind of an issue, but I'm also kind of like, are these people the ones really to be navigating this situation? These are TV and movie people. You know, they're not really video game people. And I think video game companies can replace people a lot more easily than movies and TV. They said they remain hopeful that they'll be able to reach an agreement that meets our members' needs, according to Duncan Crabtree, Ireland. But our members are done being exploited. If these corporations aren't willing to offer a fair deal, our next stop will be the picket lines. And then your next stop after that will be the unemployment line. Because, again, I don't think it's going to, I could be wrong. I personally do not think it's going to work as well in the video game industry as it did in movies and TV, because we're already dealing with digital characters. Yes, there might be some performance capture, there might be some whatever, but how many decades of performance capture, you know, punches and stunts and stuff like do we have on file? And AI can generate a lot of that stuff based on movies, you know, basically rotoscoping. So it's going to be a harder case to make. I mean, at this point, like having more human involvement is going to be a hard case to make when so much of the slack, I think, can be picked up with AI, even in the coding. You know, a lot of the grunt work, a lot of guys I know that code are using AI to help them with code because there's a lot of grunt work and redundancy that they just don't want to do by hand. You know, plus the AI is going to be, for the most part, probably more efficient, and, you know, you're not going to miss a character or something that could break everything, but I digress. It's been nearly a year since the Guild's video game contract, known as the Interactive Media Agreement, was extended beyond the original expiration date. Unfortunately, throughout the negotiations, the company have failed to address those needs. This said on September 1st. Many of the issues involved in the ongoing film and TV strike are common to those in the video game contract, including wages and artificial intelligence. And again, I hear you on that. I did another video today talking about how Google's AI search is basically going to kill off a good majority of web traffic, but you can't stop it. We can just stall it, you know, hopefully stall it out long enough to retire, right? But you're not going to be able to stop it. Between the exploitive use of AI and lagging wages, those who work in video games are facing many of the same issues of those who work in film and television, says their contract officer, Ray Rodriguez. This strike authorization makes an emphatic statement that we must reach an agreement that will fairly compensate these talented performers, provide common sense safety measures, and allow them to work with dignity. So this is Fran Drescher. These are the companies, or 10 of the companies, facing a possible strike: Activision, Blind Light, Disney Character Voice, Disney again, Disney. Of course it's Disney. Electronic Arts, Epic. It's all the AAA studios: Formosa, Insomniac, Take-Two, VoiceWorks, Warner Brothers Games. Audrey Cooling, a spokesperson for the video game company, said, "We all want a fair contract that reflects the important contributions of SAG-AFTRA represented performers. In an industry that delivers world-class entertainment to billions of players around the world, we're negotiating in good faith and hope to reach a mutually beneficial deal as soon as possible." Now, this is important too, because the video game industry does not have as many SAG-AFTRA people in it, as I understand it, as, of course, Hollywood does. There are people who are SAG-AFTRA represented, but then there are people that are in SAG-AFTRA that are doing video game voices or celebrities, and they're pretty terrible. Have you heard some of the dialogue in Mortal Kombat 1? Yeah, it's not good. It's really not good. Like, you literally could have pulled any fan off of the street and said, "Hey, do you want to do some dialogue for Mortal Kombat? Yeah, get in here. You're going to be Liu Kang today," or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, I don't know. I think this is going to be a much harder one. If you can do it and you can get more money and get yourself some job security, I mean, hell, I'd do the same thing if I were in your position. I'm just telling you the reality of it as an observer, as somebody who watches this stuff, that I think they have less of a case and less of a chance than, TV and movies. But, good luck. Good luck with that. Good luck with all that, I guess. I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later. Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.